Well, good Monday morning to you, and welcome to our live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy, with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition.
Morning.
Located. Good morning to y'all.
Morning.
Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice and cool outside?
It is. It's rather chilly outside.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we had a nice brisk morning this morning. It was like down in the mid-30s.
That's cold for us.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets very chilly out there.
Finally feels like winter's coming.
Finally.
Finally.
I know. Everybody talking about, when it's. I walked outside yesterday and said, finally, it feels like November.
Yeah,
Yes.
we kept saying, I said, man, holidays are here, and it doesn't even feel like it.
No, people laying out on the beach. And I think, I promise you,
Yeah.
last week, I was driving down the beach, there were people laying out on the beach
yeah.
in their bathing suits because it was nice and warm. Give you a quick, our phone lines, 896-0713. Excuse me, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. You're welcome to call in with questions this morning about today's subject or anything else that you maybe had something you thought of over the weekend that you wanted to ask the doctors. Feel free to call in. You can either ask them personally on the phone or pass the question along to our operator, and they'll pass it along to us. We're talking about something this morning that a lot of people think that can never happen to them. Then there's others that probably live in fear of it because it runs rampant in their families, and that is dealing with cancer.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And things that you can do to prevent it or really lessen your chance for it to.
Even according to the American Cancer Society, many cancers are preventable, and that's what we wanted to talk about because a lot of people don't think about doing stuff to prevent cancer. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to wait until you have a problem. We always tell people prevention's always better. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the things you can do for prevention, and even for different types of cancers, there's different things that you can do to prevent each one of them.
Yeah. Well, as you just mentioned, I mean, there's so many different types of cancers. I mean, you've got skin cancer, melanoma, things like that.
Right.
That we've talked so much about in the past. So, we talked about. We had a show on the biggest organ of the body.
Yes,
we
did.
And your skin, and then how to protect that, and how important it is to wear sunscreen.
Especially if you're prone to it. And
you want the right kind of sunscreen.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things that's coming out about sunscreen is some of the chemicals in some of these sunscreens are cancer causing. So you don't want to just go out and get any. What is that? The work group. What's that website?
Environmental
Work Group. We'll give you
ewg.org.
We'll give you a list of acceptable sunscreens. So you do want to go by that list. You don't want to just go buy a sunscreen.
Yeah,
so we do want to say that.
Real easy to do. Just go on the internet. It's EWG, Environmental Working Group. .org.
And that's very important down here in the South because the thing is the great thing about living down here is you can pretty much stay out all year round.
Right.
You might not be able to lay out in your bathing suit on the beach, but there's a lot of people that do go out. They go fishing.
Oh, yes.
They work outside all year round. So
you get a lot of skin cancers because of the area we're in. And while we're talking about skin cancer specifically, we'll talk about a really good new study has come out recently. We've even had some of the dermatologists already send people in to get it.
Right.
There was a study came out that showed that niacinamide, which is a type of, it's in the niacin group, which is a B vitamin, B3. It helps prevent skin cancer, a non-melanoma. Now it does more of your other skin, the basal cell, squamous cell, things like that. But it is very inexpensive.
Very.
So it doesn't take a high dose to prevent.
And not only that, it's really good for your cholesterol too.
It is.
Really?
So niacinamide is
double whammy, right?
You can actually,
all about that.
I think a 2-month supply is under $20. So for 2 months. So it's a really good prevention if you have skin cancer in your family, or if you have laid out for years and years, which many people, that's what we have. People say, oh, I baked in the sun when I was young. If you're baking in the sun, which you shouldn't, with like I said, just get out and get burned. Take niacinamide. It's something that is an easy prevention, and the research on it is really good. Go to the internet and just type in niacinamide skin cancer prevention, and you'll see all the articles come up because it just came out probably 2 months ago, maybe.
Oh, no, it's probably
2, 3, maybe 4 months. It's recent this year.
Niacinamide.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, you got it.
About that.
Boy, howdy, how about that?
Hey, spelling was my forte in school.
Okay, what mine?
Math, do not give me a math question. But spelling, I did great on that. So, but and again, it's just simple things that you can do to really lessen your chance to get skin cancer or the melanomas or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, any of the cancers you look at, there's some sort of prevention for it. For instance, if you're smoking, stop.
Yes.
Okay, because that's a big,
Or
big bad.
dipping.
Or
Stop.
dipping. Stop.
Using smokeless tobacco.
Right.
Right.
And I will
Because-
admit, I did that myself for, for
Because we see
for
a lot of
several
people
years.
that do come in with oral cancers and throat cancers and esophageal cancer, and a lot of them have dipped. You can't say that everybody has, but a lot have. So that's the prevention stuff that you can do, like stop
Do it.
dipping, stop smoking, stop over drinking.
Now, something that goes along with that, which is, a lot of people don't realize, but just in the past year or so, the research has come out about the nitrites and nitrates that they put in a lot of your processed meats being as bad as smoking. Now, there's something you can do too. Avoid those processed meats.
And you can get some of those products nitrate-free, you just have to look.
Bacon, whatever.
You have to look for it. You have to. It usually costs a little bit more when they're nitrate-free, and usually they don't have the hormones added. And that's another thing is the food supply. We have so
huge.
many chemicals, pesticides, hormones, all that in our food that it is better to go organic. I mean, everybody wants to
And
say.
ever since that I have done that, when we started doing this show and I changed my lifestyle and everything, gone organic. Yes, a dozen eggs cost a little bit more, maybe $1 a dozen more, but still, I feel so much better in so many different ways. And looking at the different meats that you buy, whether it's hamburger meat or steak or chicken, we eat a lot of chicken breast.
Chicken's good food.
It does cost a little bit more at the beginning, but how much is it going to save in the end?
This is true.
That's
sort of
what
like the
we
old,
always,
Sort of like the old Fram oil filter guy. You remember that?
Yeah, you can pay me now or you can pay me later.
Pay me now or pay me later.
Pay me later.
It's kind of the same thing, right?
So food is a huge prevention. Eating right, and another thing that we talk about over and over, probably every show, no matter what the topic is sugar. Sugar is not good for cancer. I mean, sugar increases inflammation.
It's almost like it feeds it.
It does.
It does.
It truly does.
But sugar also increases inflammation. And inflammation, they know, is the start of most cancers.
Pretty much any cancer starts with
Is
with
some
an
sort of an inflammatory
inflammatory
response.
Right.
Okay.
So that all makes a difference.
896-0713, 800-349-0713. If you have a question this morning regarding cancer prevention, give us a call or anything else that you might have on your mind. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy with Drs. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition, located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. The office is open this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 10 to 5. Thursday, they're out. Are you open Friday?
No, actually, the store is closed this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the store will be closed. Okay.
Yes, because everybody
few
needs
days,
to. Actually, most of our staff is going out of town.
Okay, so
yep.
today and tomorrow they will be in. The doctors are
Actually,
you two.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the store will be open.
Okay.
And Dr. May is there,
Okay.
but we will not be there all week. We have not had a week off in 20 years.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow.
So
We don't know what to do with
we
it.
decided it was time.
Sit back, relax, go fishing, something like that.
Yeah,
Try.
not real sure.
Yeah, really.
What do you do when you take time off, right?
I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But anyway, our phone lines are open if you have a question for the doctors regarding our subject this morning. We're talking about things that you can do to prevent or lessen your chances of getting cancer. And there's so many different ways of, different cancers nowadays.
Right.
We've talked about skin cancer, talked about cancer that you, as far as, mouth cancer, whatever you get with
Oral
smokeless
cancer,
tobacco, oral cancer with smokeless tobaccos, or not smokeless, smokeless tobaccos. I was raised in the country. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of them out there, men and boys
Oh, yeah.
and girls.
Oh, yeah.
Started out at a very young age, chewing tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
Or dipping
That or
snuff.
dipping snuff. Yeah.
Like I said, that's the first thing is if you know that something is cancer causing, stop doing it.
Right.
But as a whole, there's some things you can do to prevent most cancers all at once, and that is just to be overall healthier, eat right, eat a lot of greens and a lot of cruciferous vegetables. Some of the best cancer preventing agents come from your cruciferous vegetables, especially your broccoli.
Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage,
Brussels,
kale,
yeah.
Brussels sprouts.
Really good.
And be sure that you get them fresh. I mean, a lot of people will go. I see people in the grocery store all the time. They'll get canned vegetables, and you really don't want to do that because they're soaked in salt or whatever to keep them fresh. But we got a question on there. Evelyn has just had a double mastectomy. Her doctor has her on Femara, 2.5 milligrams. She's sick every morning. Is there something else that she can take?
I mean, when you're talking about medications, we never tell people to get off their medications. You want to talk to your doctor about it. Make sure they know you're sick, and make sure, and if that doctor don't listen to you, go to a different doctor. Just because that was the doctor, you have to feel well. And there's a lot of other things that you can do, but we're not going to say to stop taking your medication.
Oh, no. But here's the thing too, and Evelyn, this is something that we stress all the time. If you're going to a physician and you explain that you're having difficulty with this particular medication, and they are just absolutely dyed in the wool, we're not going to change anything, find you another doctor. I mean, doctors are like mechanics that you'd have for your car, it's the same thing. And if you're not satisfied with the way this mechanic is working on your car, you're going to change. Well, do the same thing with your doc. I mean, you want somebody that's going to listen to you. You want somebody that's going to help you through this, because obviously you had probably something pretty big going on there for that double mastectomy and so on. But and there's a lot of things you can take that might help. Some things. There's
a lot of things that might help the side effects of even the medication too. So I mean, come by and talk to us, and maybe there's even some things you can take with the medication to help the side effects.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for the question. And Bert is on the phone with a question about mushrooms. Good morning, Bert.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I have a long history of cancer and diabetes and blood disorders in the past. But I've been doing some research on immune system boosters and online about mushrooms, and specifically 5 types of mushrooms called immune boosters, and teas and oils and grips and stuff. I'd like some input on that. I've been looking it up, and it seems to be amazing stuff. It's about to break
really
loose in the entire world.
It really is.
Can be, yeah.
We actually use a lot of the mushrooms for immune boosters. We have a few different products. We have, one that's even called MycoImmune because it's 8 different mushrooms in combination for the immune system. And there's been a lot of research on the mushrooms. Probably the most researched mushroom, though, for cancer most people don't use or hadn't heard of, and that's the Coriolis versicolor. It's got PSP and there's a PSP and the PSK. They're a little bit different extracts, but both of them, that is probably your most researched natural product for cancer that there is.
It is.
And we do carry that, and we use it a lot.
Yeah. The PSP and the PSK come from, a lot of work came out of Japan on this. And like I say,
I was going to say that a lot of Asians use,
use
mushrooms.
They actually use it, they use this PSK, PSP. And the name came from, there was a guy named Kreskin that actually first extracted this particular, what we call polysaccharide. And so they called it polysaccharide Kreskin, or PSK. And since then, they've come up with PSP. There's just a whole bunch of different extraction methods and so on for it. Highly researched. And, like saying, for instance, in Japan, one of the first things they do is use these mushrooms. If they're treating cancer, they use the mushrooms in combination with, or what we call concomitantly along with, the actual chemotherapies and so on. And, Bert, you're looking at research. Let me point you to the place to research whatever you want to research. It's called PubMed. It's PUBMED. And it's the National Institutes of Health. So it's our government, it's a few of the government dollars that's actually worth being spent on. Every research article that's been published in what we call a peer-reviewed journal, okay, this is the research stuff, anywhere in the world, is on that NIH site, and it's called PubMed. You can, for instance, you can go to PubMed and you type in the type of mushroom you want, cancer, and sit back.
Yep. It'll bring you up every bit of research that's been published, and we like to go on published research. What we're going to talk about today on the different preventions of cancer, it's not just something we're making up or something that we saw work. It's something that we've read the research on, because what we use is always researched and published in peer-reviewed journals.
But there's just some tremendous work done there. And all these, take it, for instance, any kind of mushroom compound that you can think of, PSP, PSK, all those will come up. But even your maitakes, the reishis, and so on.
Shiitake.
Look at all those, and you'll see even the little white button mushrooms. Believe it or not,
have some benefits.
They have benefits. I mean, who would thought, right?
Well, we're glad you brought that up, because we were going to talk about mushrooms, and also it's a good time to talk about immune system, like you mentioned. You got to keep the immune system strong.
Well, that's our number one defense.
It is.
That
And
immune system.
We
right.
stress every show about vitamin D almost.
Right.
And that's another thing for cancer prevention is to have your vitamin D levels checked and make sure they're in optimal range.
Right.
Because D, that affects your own immune system. And your own immune system is your best source to prevent cancer.
All right.
That's it.
Thanks for the call, Bert. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open right now still, and we're talking about things that you can do for cancer prevention. We'll be back in just a moment with our final segment and with this week's special offer from Doctor's Nutrition. And welcome back to our final segment this morning of our Monday Morning Live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy. Artis is on the phone with us this morning. Good morning, Artis.
Good morning.
You have
Morning.
a question?
Yeah, I want to know what foods to eat to get rid of a pot belly, or what foods not to eat.
That's the question. What not to eat? All right.
Or what not to eat.
Let me tell you what not to eat, okay? Don't eat the bread, the rice, the pasta, the potatoes.
And sugar.
And sugar. Got to get rid of that out of your life,
Yep.
okay?
And if you come, and the foods you do want to eat are your lean meat and vegetables and nuts and seeds
Right.
and things like that, real healthy foods. Now, if you come by our store, we'll give you a low glycemic diet, which will give you a better indication of which foods to eat and what foods not to eat.
And we'll
okay?
go through the whole thing, kind of show you how
Yeah.
to do it, because people oftentimes ask us, well, if you cut out the bread and rice and pasta and potatoes, what is there to eat?
A lot.
Meats
And a lot.
and vegetables. There's a whole ton
lot.
of stuff.
And it's free to come by and get that sheet.
Yeah, because I
yeah.
started on that, last year,
Mm-hmm.
and because I had I had a little bit of a stomach, not bad, but I wanted some extra some extra pounds I wanted to get rid of. So and I got on that. And you do eat good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot
And-
of really
and-
good food there.
And eating that way is also cancer prevention, and that's what we're talking about
That's
today.
the thing.
And when you get into cancer prevention, one of the things we wanted to get to, because we're in our last segment and it goes by really fast, is make sure you eliminate. That's a big thing people don't think about, but they have had research after research how constipation actually increases risk of cancers, especially colon cancer, and even there's been a lot of research for breast cancer and not eliminating.
Right.
So we always say if you're constipated, make sure you get that cleared up. And there are some natural, really healthy ways like probiotics, betaine hydrochloride, digestive enzymes, things like that to actually help your body start working more properly and getting rid of toxins, because that's another
right.
area of toxins
It's
and
huge.
carcinogens is what is cancer causing.
Our gut tends to recycle those things, so if
If
they're
it stays
there,
in there, you keep getting the bad effects of them.
I've got a great illustration of that. If you live out in the country and you have a septic tank, you know how it is from time to time. You have to pour this stuff down your toilets because it goes in there, it eats the enzymes,
Yeah.
or else it pretty much gets backed up. So that's pretty much the same thing
Yeah, exactly.
with yourself.
Same thing,
You got to put to break all that up. Joyce is on the phone. Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning.
what can we do for you?
Well, I went to the doctor and they put me on a triple antibiotic dosage.
Okay.
I have what is called H. pylori,
Yes.
and they told me that if the antibiotics don't work, that it could turn into a severe ulcer or maybe even cancer.
That's
And I was just-
true.
That's true.
That's true. Actually, H. pylori is a bacteria, and cancers can be caused by viruses or bacteria, like the HPV and the H. pylori. H. pylori, though, we had really good success at helping H. pylori as well. I mean, you're on the antibiotic therapy. Even if that doesn't work, we have something that works most of the time, and
Yes,
it's
most
called
of the
PeptiGuard. And also, anytime when you get off the antibiotics, or even what we use, the PeptiGuard, you want to take probiotics. Probiotics, your own
Huge.
good bacteria, keeps it from coming right back, because H. pylori is an agent that is cancer causing, but it also does cause ulcers. So your doctor is correct on what they told you. So you do want to get rid of it, and there's a lot of things you want to do to prevent it, even not just get rid of it and think that it's never going to come back.
Right.
Well, great. Thank
Okay.
you so
Oh,
much.
thank
Now,
you.
Thank you.
I was told that bacteria was brought to the coast because of Katrina.
Oh,
No,
honey,
H.
honey,
Oh no,
it was
that's been
here
around
before
for a
Katrina.
long time,
Okay.
way before Katrina. We can blame a lot of other things on Katrina, though.
Yeah. Don't want to blame that one on Katrina.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your call. Margie's on the phone. Good morning, Margie. You have a question?
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted the top 10 tools and tricks to help the internal temperature of a 97.2 to become a 98.6. I know there's potential of flus and colds and infections and things that are dropping the body temperature. What can we do to get it back?
Well, first thing we always look at is the adrenals and the thyroid, in which those play a role in your immune system as well. So that plays a huge part of body temperature along with your immune system. Yeah, so you kind of have to do everything as a whole. You got to work the whole body as a whole, and you got to, get overall healthy.
Yeah, it's, when the set temperature of the body, I mean, and it runs somewhere between about 97.8 to 98.6, in that range. Everybody's a little bit different. It'll be off a tenth of a point here and there. But when your set point starts running too low, and your body, your metabolism is suffering. So we have to do a lot of things like Janine said, and you have to look at the thyroid, you have to look at the adrenal glands, and a lot of other stuff that goes on that actually determines that set point. Right. And things that you can do to change that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Margie, for the call. We got just a few minutes left.
We need to get to our special.
If you want to go ahead and mention the special that you got going on this week.
We do.
Well, we want to talk about resveratrol, and we want to tell a little bit about it. Resveratrol is a compound that has research on probably every different kind of cancer out there.
Pretty much. You can, back to the PubMed thing. You can go to PubMed, type in resveratrol and cancer, and you'll be covered up. There's like thousands of articles about it. And like I say, every kind of research or every kind of cancer you can think of. And it's even good for anti-aging. There's a lot on it about anti-aging medicine.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, I'll take two.
Larry from Orange Grove. Good morning, Larry.
Oh, yeah, good morning. I got a question about prostate.
Yes.
What do you take for prostate?
For prostate, there's actually a lot of really good research about some of the broccoli extracts and something called DIM, diindolylmethane, for prostate prevention. Even selenium has a lot of really good research. There's so much out there about prostate cancer and breast cancer. We hadn't gotten to get to all of it because the show's kind of a little too short. But
we might have to continue this one next week.
Yeah, we might have to
actually we can.
Right.
Well, okay. We'll just do that.
We might just do that. We might continue this show next week because we didn't get to half the stuff we were going to talk about.
We didn't even touch it.
But for the prostate, there are so many things, Larry. If you come by our store, we can actually go more specific in your prostate problem because we have things for enlargement, but then we also have stuff for prostate prevention. And so, cancer prevention. And so many people have that in your family. And if you have prostate cancer in your family, you definitely want to do some prevention.
No doubt.
All right. Thank you very much, Larry. We got just a couple of minutes left. And I mean, this has been a tremendous response on this. And I know there were a lot of things that you didn't want to get to.
When you look at, I think everybody that's probably watching, listening, whatever, they can tell that somebody that they know personally or somebody in their family has cancer or has had cancer. And so, it touches all of us. And anything we can do just to prevent, one, that would be, great.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we didn't get to half the things we were going to talk about. Actually, instead of what we were going to do next week, let's do a second part of this one.
Okay.
Continued.
Continued.
Right? to be continued next week.
To be continued, right.
To be continued next week on this. So, again, if you have any questions, you can always stop by the Doctor Nutrition office. Right. They're located on Cowan Road, south of Pass Road, right there across from the old garden center of the old Kmart.
Yeah, we just want to kind of tell everybody, this is Thanksgiving week, so let's don't overindulge.
Right.
This week too. That might save some stomach problems and so on this next week too. So.
Yeah, too much turkey and you'll end up with having
a big nap.
Actually, the turkey probably ain't the problem. It's everything that goes along with it.
The dressing and the rolls and the desserts.
Actually, the turkey itself is probably pretty good.
I was going to say turkey's actually good for you, but it's all the bread and the desserts and the sweets and the things that go along with it.
Yeah, back to the sugar thing, which again, we talked about how that kind of starts that inflammatory process, which goes on into the cancers and so on. So yeah, there's. Let's enjoy it, be thankful for it, but let's don't overindulge this week.
There you go. We want to see you back here next week.
That's right.
Not with another 10 pounds added.
That's right. It's easy to gain a lot of weight during the holidays.
This is true. This is true. And then you say you're going to get rid of it next year. Thank you for being with us again this morning. If you have any questions, again, tune in Monday. We will be back with another live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy.